Shalom, shalom, everyone. Welcome once again to Shabbat Night Talk. My name is Uzi Alewi. I'm one of the teachers at Congregation D.C.B, Beit CHOKMAH, BINAH. And we're here once again on Shabbat Night Talk, giving glory to the creator of heaven and earth, Yehovah Zavaot, God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the one who allows us to be here, the one who protects us, the one who gives us all things and everything. I said to y'all, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom, Monel Alioti. Shabbat Shalom. Adon Moshe Yisrael. Shabbat Shalom. Rhonda McCrary. Shabbat Shalom. Samira. Shabbat Shalom, hermana. To the Chief Rabbi Capus Fune. Shabbat Shalom. Benjamin. Shabbat Shalom. And my sister Quatifa Yisrael. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom to everyone. I hope that everyone has had a blessed Shabbat meal, that everybody had, those of you that do the Seder, the Shabbat Seder, and all the things that come with it, that the Most High God bless your time and your together with your family. If you're sitting around the table listening to me, I thank the Most High God for your lives, and I thank the Most High God for each and every one of you. I pray that the Most High God continue to be with each and every one of you. Shabbat Shalom, Sarah Henningham, and to everyone, I bid y'all in the tongue of our ancient forefathers, Shabbat Shalom Aleichem. May the Most High God continue to be with us and bless us and keep us. This is a blessed day, the Shabbat day. We should be glad and rejoice therein. And let me go see my YouTube people who has joined us so far. I have to open up a different screen, so let me give a shout out to my people over there. Ima Havared, Shabbat Shalom. Now Asira, Shabbat Shalom says. Adon Moshe once again. Legit Guy, Shalom. Ima Kasquia, Shabbat Shalom. Marsha Yisrael, Shabbat Shalom. Capo, Shalom. Dina Yisrael, Shalom. Mordecai Naftali, Shalom. Delilah M, Shalom. And Hannah Lewi, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom, Yemima Prescott. Shabbat Shalom to my family out there. How y'all feeling out there? I hope everybody had a prosperous week. I hope that everyone had a uplifting week, that the Most High God bless you with all the desires of your mind, that you desire in righteousness, that the Most High God answered your prayers. And if you haven't gotten those things that you desire yet, keep praying, because our God truly is the one who answers prayers. It's like an Ashanti song that always plays in my mind. I know you're all going to say, Ashanti, what y'all talking? What are you talking about, Ashanti? I think it went something like, always there when you call, always on time, something like that. Not always there when you call, but I'm always on time. That's the Most High God, you know. He there when you need him. So we keep our hands clean. Y'all could, all you sisters out there could correct me on the lyrics if I'm wrong. Or if I completely messed them up, just let me know I messed them up. But something to that effect. So I'm glad, you know, that we're here once again. And sometimes we take for granted the mercy of the Creator. We take for granted family and all the things that he gives us. But we can't take those things for granted, because it's important to be thankful for what you have in front of you. Sometimes we worry so much about what we don't have, but what we don't have is what we don't have. So just be thankful for what you have, and that what you have in front of you is good. It's healthy, it's safe. There's so many things going on. There's so many occurrences that are happening in the world. So much tragedy and things of that sort. And what happens is that we don't be appreciative of what's before us. Appreciate times like this. Appreciate the Shabbat day. You know, they have some people that work 7 days a week, nonstop, got 2, 3 jobs, and all they do is work, and they work for naught. You know, I know that there's a part in the Tanakh, I believe is in the book of Ecclesiastes, where it speaks about a man works so hard all his life, continuously, and then he leaves it. He leaves his fortune to his children. And then what he worked a lifetime to accumulate, children came and spent it in no time, because they don't appreciate it, because they didn't work for it, they didn't labor for it. So you tend to appreciate the things that you labor for. Like if you give something to a child, or you give something to most, like specifically children, they'll, you know, you get them a new pair of sneakers, they'll put holes in it, scrape it up, scratch it. Not all children, but a big amount of them. But now if you tell them, well, you have to buy them sneakers, you know, I'm not buying your sneakers anymore. They take care of that. They clean it, they wipe it down, they make sure that it lasts, because you appreciate the things you work for. You know, so therefore we have to work for this knowledge. We have to work for the things that we want, and we have to appreciate them when we get them. So we thank God for all the things that he's given us. I thank the Creator for knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. That some people say. People told me, oh, why y'all got the house of knowledge, wisdom, and understanding? That's just the way it came out. I know the Tanakh said wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, but that's just the way it came out. So it's not a biggie, you know. But you got technical people out there that they're so technical with everything, but it's okay. We'll be all right. So I thank the Creator for all of our lives. I thank the Creator for everything he has given us. You know, I was contemplating this week on what to speak about. I have a Shabbat day Facebook messenger list, and someone suggested that they gave me a topic here. Let me look for it. Obviously, you know, I'm not doing that topic if I don't remember what the topic was, but I believe it was Sister Edna, and someone else gave me a topic, but maybe I'll touch on that another day. But let me see here. Let me see if I can find the list. I don't think this is the list. I forgot what it was that the person. I have to find it. But this week I decided, with everything that's going on, because I was contemplating on this the whole week. I was looking at the whole sexual harassment, rash of sexual harassment accusations that are happening. And I was wondering, you know, how does this relate to Torah? But first, I had to, you know, I started to reflect and contemplate on, you know, for whatever you thought President Barack Obama was, or for whatever you think he is, maybe, you know, you didn't agree with all his policies. I surely didn't agree with everything he's done. But at the end of the day, when it came to a level of decency and showing a family or respecting the office of the president, the man did that he did that, I mean, above and beyond the call of duty. Him and his wife, his family, you know, his teenage daughter had a little blip on the radar screen right there at the end, but as teenagers, you have to expect that. Right, he has integrity. Well, you know, as teenagers, if you ever raised up teenagers, they do things that sometimes baffle you and you know, but for what teenagers are doing today, she was trying to twerk. She was trying to do a half a twerk at some concert, and it didn't work out too well because it don't seem like she had too much of rhythm. But you know, teenagers do things like that, and especially in this society. So that was nothing compared to what, you know, other first daughters did. You know, the Bush daughters, they were getting high on drugs. There was a bunch of stuff going on, but I'm not here to talk about all that. What I want to show is the level of integrity and what was going on throughout those 8 years that man was in office. So now you come to this year. You got a president that got elected into the highest office of the country that was recorded. You got audio of him advising young men that are young enough to be his children. I believe Billy Bush. He was telling them, hey, you know, when you around women, just grab them by their privates. I mean, he used the actual word, but this is the man who got elected into the office, to the highest office of this country. What people say is the leader of the free world, the president of the United States. He got elected, a man with no morals, no integrity, a man who bought out a beauty pageant, Miss America, the biggest beauty pageant here in America, so that he could walk into the dressing room. This is what he admitted, so that he could walk into the dressing room and look at young, you know, teenage and young women naked, and it was okay. You see, this is intertwined in the fabric of the fathers, the fathers of this country, or what you call the founding fathers of this country. This is what they did. You see, sexual harassment was nothing new to them. I mean, they raped our mothers. I mean, this is documented history. This is, I'm not making this up. It's not hate talk. This is documented history. So when you get a man that's the leader of the country saying that, hey, you grab them by you grab them down there, and then you get people that say, well, we weren't electing, you know, his supporters that would say, well, we weren't electing the Pope, you know, we were electing a president. But shouldn't your president have some type of integrity and morals? Yeah, Billy Bush lost his job, but you know, POTUS, he didn't he got elected. And so many women came out with allegations as to what he did. And you're going to say, well, how are you going to connect this with Torah, Chief Uzal? I don't know quite how I could connect it with Torah, but I'm sure that I could connect it with Torah. And this is how. Many of these women were sexually assaulted. Some of them were raped. So, and what we see now, it's a pattern. It's a pattern. Men with power. And I'm not going to forget Mr. Bill Cosby. I know some of you love him. I love Dr. Huxtable, but we got to be real about it. I mean, they got Dr. Huxtable on tape saying that he drugged women. You know, so I'm not naive to that, you know, and the things that people do. It's an abuse of power. It's an abuse of power. And why I say it's an abuse of power? Because what's sexual harassment, right? You are coming on to a woman. I mean, the definition of sexual harassment, let's look it up. And then we'll connect it to Torah. Let me give you the exact definition. So that way, sexual harassment, or harassment, as they say. Harassment, typically of a woman in a workplace or other professional or social situation involving the making of unwanted sexual advances or obscene remarks, right? So that is sexual harassment. So a lot of times this occurs with someone who's on a higher position or who has a position of authority over someone else. So you will have some subordinates, and you have power, and you know you got these beautiful women, and all of a sudden you calling them to come into your office. You got the shades down, and you're saying inappropriate things to them, and because of the position that you're in, they feel afraid to say something because at the end of the day they want to keep their job. So you know the woman bears with it, and the come on and all these things get stronger and stronger because you don't say anything, and these perverted men feel like you know you like it because you're not, you know, you haven't stopped them or whatever. You might have laughed it off, but the laughter might be uncomfortable. Then the next thing is the people who are next to these people of power, who might be on the same level, know that these people are doing this and don't say anything, or don't report them, or don't put a stop to it. Now, when we look at the Torah, I believe Leviticus chapter 19, verse 16 say you shall not stand idly by the blood of your brother. What does that mean? It means that if something is happening to a person that you consider a friend or brother or sister, you cannot stand idly by that person and continue to watch go on what's going on. When we look at the Torah, it speaks about a woman that's found in the city and that's raped. And if she, you know, if she screamed and no one helped her, came to her help, or that was in the field, better put, and she screamed but no one heard her because she was in the field, there is no fault in the woman, but you should put the man to death, because it's as if he has slain his neighbor. So the act of rape is considered murder. You're taking away something from a woman that's precious to her. Is considered murder, and the perpetrator shall be put to death. So you got all these men with power. So now all the names are coming out. You know, you got the Harvey Weinsteins. You got the I just heard Russell Simmons, Matt Lauer. Y'all know all the names. Y'all could put them up. I'm not going to remember all the names. But this sexual harassment thing has gone rampant. And it has to be checked, because it's only from a perverted mind and from a distorted mind where you could feel that you could approach a woman and just be disrespectful and have these aggressive things. And now Torah teaches us to have discipline. And this is what I love about Torah, because the Most High God even tells us when we go out to war. Now, one of the things about war is this is some of the stuff about war that we don't see. But a lot of times when you have wars and you got warriors, you got men that are in a position of power, or you go and invade a country, or you fighting in a country, who suffers a lot of times is the civilian, the woman. Because you're talking about men that coming all the way sometimes from across the waters. And this is the part of war that they don't tell you. But a lot of times local women get raped and things of that nature. You go into a raid, you see young women or whatever, and because a man's been over there for 2-3 months, you know, he gets that urge. In ancient times, it was the norm to go and invade a country and then impregnate the woman, rape all the women, and make them have your babies, whether you took them captives or not, or whether you just came through the land, killed all the men, and raped the woman, right, and left them pregnant. This was the norm. This is why Italians say that the Sicilians they call them the N-word, because Hannibal came over into Italy, crossed over to Italy, and that's what the men did. You know, that's history. So our Torah teaches us that when we go into a land and we invade a land and we see young women, it teaches us to respect them. What do I mean by that? The Most High tells us, look, you already killed her people. You might have killed her mother, her father, her brother. It said if you see her and you like her and you want to take her to wife, you can't go into that woman right away. You have to bring her home, make her sit and mourn her parents for 30 days, shave off her head, shave all the hair off her head, cut her nails, and then see her for 30 days and see whether or not you want to really get that. Because at the moment of trying to take her and ravage a woman at that point, when she had her weakest, God don't want that. God said, nah, wait your time. God put restriction on us when it came to war, that we can't be savages. That's why I love this Torah. No other place in history does it tell you anything like that. In no other book in history is there anything written like that, but in the Torah. So our Torah is precious. The things that we read is precious. All right, now what's going on? All right. Can a non-Israelite be an Israelite? Okay. All right, let me see here. 2 wrongs don't make a right. That being said, you got all this sexual harassment by people who voted for a known sexual predator, absolutely, to be president. That bill don't pass when it was the fashion in his day, what he did, right or wrong. And for sure, Obama the homo don't get a pass at all, LOL. Shabbat Shalom, son. That interview with Rabbi BINAH was awesome. Hallelujah. Torah Ima. So we when we see that, right, so the chief rabbi writes, the practice is called ethnic cleansing. In Bosnia in the 1990s, over 20,000 women were raped in one day. This was done to change the seed of that people. You are absolutely correct when you say that the actions of these men is a demonstration of their power. Absolutely. Because God is telling us when we look at Torah, God is telling us to do everything in the in the right manner, right? I believe there was one instance in the Tanakh when the tribe of Benjamin almost got wiped out. And the people were concerned and they were saying, look, the tribe is going to be vanished. We have to do something, because what happened is during that time, that was when, remember, it was the Levite, and he came into the town of Benjamin, and he had his concubine who had ran away to her father's house, and she had played a harlot, but he went and got his concubine back. And when he came into this town of Benjamin, the men wanted to know this man, like they wanted to rape him. And what he did, the person who took this man into his house, he said, look, I'll send my daughter out, almost like the whole Noah thing. And he said, no, don't send your daughter out. I'm going to put her out there. He put the concubine out there, and they violently raped her, the man of the town. So in the morning he got up, took his concubine, she died. He cut into pieces and sent a piece of her to every tribe in Israel. And they warred against Benjamin, make a long story short. And basically, at first Benjamin was beating up Israel. And then basically what happened is, they overcame Israel, and Israel overcame Benjamin, and they almost wiped them out into extinction. But so then it came a part where at the end of it, they made a vow that they would not give their daughters to the Benjamites because of the egregious act that they committed in raping this woman and wanting to rape this man who came into their town. So then after a while, they said, you know what? There's too many there are too many people that are that don't have children. The tribe is going to be wiped out. So they had this festival or this feast or whatever it was, and they said, all right, the daughters are going to be out there dancing. The fathers agreed to this. They had to agree. So basically it was the fathers giving their daughters away, but the daughters didn't know they were going to be given away. And the Benjamites will come out of the bushes or whatever, grab a daughter and take them with them and make them their wives. So that's the only time that you see that something like that was kind of permitted in the Tanakh, and that was from fathers agreeing to it. But when we get into the realm of taking daughters and having the understanding of taking daughters, and especially those daughters that are virgins, it makes a clear statement about that. Those daughters that are virgins, you have to be careful with that. Things have to be done appropriately. We cannot use our power and our position. We've seen that with quote unquote men of the cloth. We've seen it with in churches and places like that, where people in the churches end up, how do you say it, pastors and people like that, they end up impregnating people and people's wives and stuff like that. So these things are prevalent. You see it. It's in society. Now you got all these senators and all these people that all this stuff is coming out, and all of a sudden, everyone is speaking about it. So Torah teaches us how to be a moral people. You understand? God don't want us to be going into a place and just going rampant, doing what you want to do. Just going off and raping women. We can't do that. As God's people, we can't do that. We can't be savages. We can't go around and invade a woman's space. You can't grab a woman's behind or grab a woman's breast and think it's all right. This society has taught us that and made it seem like it was all right, that you could do that to a woman. But as God's people, we're supposed to be godly. We're supposed to exude godliness. So that doesn't add up with godliness. Violating a woman's space, coming on to a woman. Now, when she doesn't want that, you know. And anyway, any approach that we have as Israelites cannot be a raunchy approach. It has to be an approach of dignity. It has to be an approach of righteousness. So when you come on to a woman, or when you want to talk to a woman, it can't be like a straight out come on. You have to go around the right way. There's a right way to approach a woman if you like her. There's a right way to approach a man if you like him. That could be done also, but there is a right approach. But what's happening in today's society is what you see is an abuse of power. The power struck, and it starts from the top. It starts from the top. You cannot have a man that admittedly has done these things and supports people that do these things, and then everything is all right. He gets elected as the president. So the moral fabric of the nation has deteriorated because from the top is corrupt. From the very top is corrupt. Shabbat Shalom to everyone new that's joining in. But from the very top is corrupt. So these are things that we have to keep in mind, and these are things that we have to see. So, hey, you know how we do. I'm going to open up the lines right now. The topic tonight is, sexual harassment, how it affects us today, and how can we relate it to Torah and today's, and this day and age. How can we relate it to Torah in this day and age, with this sexual harassment? So the number. The number is 347-622-9090, 347-622-9090. We have to learn to respect people's spaces. We have to learn not to violate people's spaces. And sisters, never feel like you are defenseless. You need to tell someone. You need to go, you need to make some noise, because no one should be treating you like you're an object. You know what I'm saying? No one should be treating you like you're an object. It's far from that. You are daughters of Zion. So let's discuss it. 347-622-9090. 347-622-9090. Y'all might know something or might enlighten me on something that I might not be able to bring forth. So 347-622-9090. I'm waiting for your calls. Very interesting topic. I love the interaction when we all get on and we talk about these subjects and these topics, because it's prevalent. As many of you might have gone through that at work. Many of you might have seen something like this. Oh, let's not forget our favorite Supreme Court Justice, Clarence Thomas. I was young back then. What was that, 1991? So I was 16 years old with Anita Hill. And they made that woman out to be, the worst thing in the world. Even black people was like, oh, why is she coming out with that now? Why, they trying to get a black man. Man, Clarence Thomas is his Uncle Tom as they come. He's another OJ. You know what I mean? He was another OJ. But Anita Hill back then, she was, and if I could recall, Anita Hill, she wasn't the one that came forward. She, in the office where they worked at, he was the boss at some office. I forgot what was the office, but it was like it was like a human service type thing. and he was the boss, and everybody knew that he was into these pornographic movies, and he will make statements about it. And everything that she said was like 3 other women that had statements, but they didn't let them testify because nobody wanted to have on their back. Joe Biden, in fact, was the one who was residing over that case, and he didn't want anyone. Well, it wasn't a case; it was a hearing. He didn't want to be known as the person who stopped a black Supreme Court justice to be elected. So he kind of went soft. It was other women that had stories, but they didn't call them forward. They just went with Anita Hill, and they made her look like the worst thing in the world. But from back then, so I'm not discriminating. Bill Cosby, Dr. Huxtable, he was out there messing around and doing things, drugging women and stuff like that. I mean, if there's smoke, there's fire. We can't say, oh, these women. We can't say that all these men now that they coming out with all these things is whatever. But when it comes to our own people, we can't look at it in an objective way and say, well, they were guilty also. So those are the things that we have to look at. That's a serious matter. So call me 347-622-9090, 347-622-9090. I want to hear from y'all tonight. Y'all don't seem like y'all in the mood to talk tonight. Usually I would have like 2-3 calls already. Have any one of you ever experienced this at your jobs? This is the topic of the day. This is what people are talking about. How can we relate that to Torah? Maybe you have a spot in the Torah that you could go to, and you could say, hey, this is what shows this. This is what shows that. So here we go. Ima Havaret. Shabbat Shalom, Ima.
Shabbat Shalom. Okay, you make me calm. Okay, my thoughts on the matter. Yes, I had one manager when I was a manager for Braves Stadium.
Okay.
Before they moved to their new location.
That was Fulton County Stadium, right? Fulton County.
No, it was Turner Field.
Turner Field, right. Turner Field, right. I should have known that.
I was manager for their cleaning department. We cleaned the whole stadium and all of the venues and stuff like that, the boxes and things. Anyway, my boss, he was what they call a chauvinist, and he thought that women were beneath him. So he used to, anything he felt like saying out of his mouth that was lewd and lascivious, he said.
Wow.
And, my husband had to step to him. Oh, yeah. Yeah, he stepped to him right, too. And, so eventually he said something to the wrong person. He was gone. But,
right.
It's never good for someone who considers themselves to be a man to take advantage of a woman. It's just plain and simple. And they say that women do it too, and I can believe that. And that's wrong because your body is your body, and decency always prevails, especially in Israel.
Right.
What is right is right. What is wrong is wrong. We don't make differences between people.
Right.
As far as Bill Cosby is concerned, the only issue that I had with that was I have relatives that lived in California at that time, and they used to tell us all kinds of stories. Back in the 70s, when Bill Cosby came out, when they started letting black actors and stuff come onto the Hollywood scene, orgies and swing parties were the norm. This is what they did all over Los Angeles, California. whether you were in Hollywood or whether you were the neighbor next door, people swap wives, they swap, they just did all kinds of filthiness. And it's filthiness, and we have to call it what it is. It's filthiness. It's no good about it. How he got caught up in it, I'm not making no excuses for him. He was wrong. But at the same time, it does not matter whether you're kind or whether you're hospitable or not, or whether you're mannerable. When you commit sin, you commit sin. That's my point of view. And Bill Cosby, Barack Obama, Clarence Thomas, OJ, Boo Boo and them,
right.
They're all wrong. You wrong is wrong, and they don't get a pass. And we don't elevate what's wrong according to Torah. And that's all I have to say on the subject.
Okay.
All right. I hope I said something that makes some sense.
Yeah, I want to ask you something. What do you think goes through what do you think is it that makes a person, like you say, you had this manager that was over you, this boss over you. What do you think goes through a person's mind when they're actually doing this? Do you think that they understand what they're doing, or they're just so accustomed to being this way that they don't really see in full detail what is it that they're doing and how they are affecting the person that they're doing it to?
Well, I think that it goes across the whole spectrum. You got some people that know exactly what's going on, and they're doing it because they can. Some people are drunk on power, drunk on egos, drunk on on their own self-importance and what they want, and they could care less. That's why you have a lot of people that abuse their mates and stuff like that, go out and abuse everybody and, want to beat everybody up. You got bullies, all that kind of thing. It all falls into the same category. Then you also have people that are following the crowd. You got people that are doing things because they want to be part of what's going on. They want to be involved in that. And then you have people that are doing things simply because of their urges. They may have some mental problems. They may not be able to control their urges. But for whatever reason that they're doing it, this is the reason why the Creator separates us from all these types of people. This is the reason why the Creator makes these rules and these laws so that we can consider what we are doing and take a self-introspective before we go off the rails and get ourselves into all kinds of things. The Torah changes the spirit or the heart. The Torah changes a person's character, because as you practice Torah, you become more used to doing what is right and more aware of what is going on or what you're doing,
right,
than you would be if you did not have it.
Right.
So, the father had people that couldn't come into the camp, all kinds of things that was going on, because we have to realize that some people might not be firing on all cylinders. Some people don't care. They may have a seared conscience. Some people might be, where they're just following what everybody else does because they're weak-minded. I mean, but it's still the same outcome. Sin is sin.
Right.
I hope I was able to answer the question.
All right, Toda Ima, I appreciate it. Hallelujah.
Shalom.
Shalom. The lines are open, 347-622-9090. Call me, give me your thoughts on this topic, what you feel about it. Now, I know that there were a lot, I always say this, and especially in our families and Black families, a lot of times this is the dirty little secret that no one wants to talk about, so, and this is a whole nother thing besides sexual harassment. Got Moradina. Shabbat Shalom, Moradina. How are you?
Shabbat Shalom, Manito Barukia.
Hallelujah.
I have several things to say about this. The Torah says, number one, you're supposed to call out.
Right.
Okay, but now, in this day and time, people are just speaking up because now it's being recognized.
Okay.
You say, what goes through the woman's mind, you know, that they're not defenseless? The thing about it is they become victims.
Right.
Now, as a man, you might understand this. You can say, oh, you can look at a good lady and say, oh, she's available.
Right.
Predators can look and say, this person's good to be a victim.
Mm.
And so out of fear, they won't say something like, if you say something, I'm going to kill you. So
Right.
they're so used to being a victim that they become fearful easily.
Right.
And the same way you can spot someone that's available, predators can spot someone that's going to be a victim. That won't say anything. That'll go on and on and on and on.
Wow.
It's the same thing as being in an abusive situation.
Right.
Oh, I love him, but you keep getting beat. Well, he's going to get better. He's going to get better. And this is what happens.
Right.
Now, the only reason that it's becoming a big thing now is because these white people are coming out with it.
Right.
Because you just think about it. With the rabbis and the priests, this was all undercover.
Right.
This all stayed undercover until people just got tired of it.
Right.
And see, it's not even women anymore. It's men.
Right.
And boys.
Right.
Everybody's becoming a victim because this was perverted.
Right.
Like the sister said before us, this is why the Most High kept us separated.
Right.
But we still had our perversion.
Right.
God reads son and his sister, you see that?
Right.
We still had our perversion, but we dealt with it up front.
Right.
And you know, she wasn't so much a victim, she called out.
Right.
We become a victimized society, and it's become an acceptable thing because people in power are doing it.
Right. Right.
And the thing about it is, the only thing I can say is no matter what they threaten you with, if you don't call out, you allow yourself to be a victim. The more victimized you are, the worse you're going to be at it. You're going to always be a victim if you don't speak up.
So there you go. That's a poignant message right there from Moradina. She said, stop being a victim. You have to call out. Torah teaches us, you see, Torah teaches us, it says that the righteous is as bold as a lion. That's what Tanakh tells us, right? So we have to begin to take courage and follow the precepts that are in that book. So you can't sit down and just be a victim and allow yourself to be victimized. You have to be as bold as a lion and take the steps to stop being a victim. You understand what I'm saying? So sisters, brothers, whoever it might be, because like you said, you know, brothers get victimized also. And sometimes it's a little bit tougher for a brother or for a man, you know, to say something because it's for a man, it would feel tougher for him because, or I can't say tougher. Let me take that back because whoever it happens to, it's a rough situation, whether a male or a female. Let me retract that. Let me use the words properly. But what a man will probably go through is say, why did this person pick me out? What did they see in me? You know, do I look that? Am I effeminate or am I this? You know, as a little boy, you will go through those thoughts. I seen a movie and it was a true story about the priest in Boston. It was a newspaper that I think it was the Boston Globe that broke the news, and they did a movie about it. This priest in the archdiocese, he was raping all these little boys. He was raping all these little boys, and one of the things that was said, Torah Moradina, let me let you go. And one of the things that was said was that the boys kept saying, like, what was it that he's seen in me that made him look at me to want to touch me or do that to me? So with boys is a little bit more different. You know what I'm saying? We had this discussion last week, and I was speaking with Chief Benjamin because he was teaching last week, and he spoke about what's the worst thing to say to a woman. He said the worst thing to say to a woman that's been raped and waited for a long time to say something. Let's say she waited 6 months, a year, or she didn't come out with it till 2 years later. The worst thing to say to her is, why did you wait so long? And my contention with him was, I don't think that's the worst thing to say to her. I said, because that's the natural question that people are going to ask. It depends on in what context you ask it, right? So what I explained to him, and we had this discussion, you know, we grown men, so we sometimes we agree, we disagree. I mean, you could see clearly that we don't agree on everything, but that's the beauty of us at D.C.B. We don't agree on everything, but we still carry on, and we brothers, and no one brother is trying to impose a will on another and tell someone how to think about certain things. Now, the staple things about Torah, we do agree on. You know what I'm saying? If it's something that has to do with Torah and breaking Torah, but we all have our thoughts and ideas. So what I told him, I said, I think the worst thing to say to a woman who has been violated is not so much what you say, but not believing her. I don't think, because that's the natural question. Well, daughter, why you waited so long to tell me? Like, if my daughter got molested, right? She got molested by someone, or she got raped by someone, and she tells me like a year later, a year and a half, I'm going to be like, well, daughter, why did you wait this long to tell me? Why didn't you tell me when it happened? So now me asking her that is not the worst thing I could ask her. You know what I'm saying? But saying, I don't believe you. You lied too much. Now that right there is going to be, you know, she's going to feel a way about that. And that's what I explained to her. You know, that right there is tough. So I don't know if sisters agree with me. Now, I know there's some, listen, I know that this is a tough topic for Black families. This is a subject that is swept underneath the rug. This is a subject that probably hits home in a lot of places. And that you know somebody in your family or something that happened, and some uncle or somebody in the family, and it's unfortunate, but this happens. But what we have to do is learn how to deal with it. Don't be victims. Don't be victimized. Go tell someone. And those are the things that we have to practice and we have to do. Now, the thing now, you can still call in 347-622-9090, 347-622-9090. This is Shabbat Night Talk. My name is Uzi Alewi. For all those who are new, who are joining us, it's a culture, society is teaching us how to be, how do you say it, immoral. It's prevalent, brothers and sisters. Is out there. We just see it, and it's just happening over and over and over and over. Us as God people, what are we to do? We got to attach ourselves to that Torah. We got to attach ourselves to that Torah. Let me go real quick. I want to go to the Torah real quick. Let me open up my app here. Before y'all say you've been talking for now almost an hour now, you ain't even opened up the Torah. I know Israel. So I go to Leviticus 19, verse 1 and 2. It reads, and Yahweh spoke unto Moses, saying, that's verse 1. Speak unto all the congregation of the children of Yisrael, and say unto them, ye shall be holy, for I, Yah, your God, am holy. Holiness. Holiness means that we should be separate, set aside. We can't be like everybody else. I tell my sons all the time, walk in the path of righteousness, walk in holiness. Do not walk outside of that. Children are very, you try to teach your children to be leaders, because in today's society, you know, everything goes, violating girl spaces and grabbing. I mean, the type of games that they play, the things that I've seen, I mean, just on social media is ridiculous. So our children today are a little bit more vulnerable than what we were back then. And today, when your children go to school and they do something like which we should teach them not to do, and I hope that we're reiterating this to our children, but you go and you grab a girl or you do something like that here in New York City, it's like that record stays with you. It's almost because the school safety is ran by the NYPD. So it's like you have a record going through school. You have a record of fighting. You got a record of maybe you got caught drinking in school. Like this stuff follows you almost like a rap sheet. You know what I'm saying? And if the New York City Board of the safety, right, for the school is NYPD, then don't you think that that record transfers to them? So these are the things that we have to look at. Shabbat Shalom. So we have to see here. So those are the things that we need to look at, and those are the things. I see there's somebody here that's trying to be funny. And I see this. I see they're out to attack tonight. No, I don't love Jesus. I do not love Jesus. And I see that they are in full attack tonight. And yeah, so like I was saying, no attacking, just bidding on couches. Y'all are funny tonight, huh? So like I was saying, you know, when we look at what's happening in society today, it's just crazy. But it starts from the top. So when we look at Torah and what Torah teaches us integrity, how to walk with morality, how to walk in holiness. It says, "Be ye holy, for I, the Lord your God, am holy." So that's where we get our morals from. So these are things that we have to walk with. We can't look at what everyone else is doing and try to follow that. You can see that this place is going into oblivion because of the actions that people are taking and the way that people are living. And what's happening is that the moral fiber night next week, I'm going to speak about the Maccabees, right? And prior to the Maccabees, you had the Seleucid Empire, the Ptolemies. You had them. You had all these people, and what was their identity? Their identity was that these people ended up being homosexuals. You know, the Greeks, Alexander the Great, all these people, you know, they were known for having a culture that homosexuality was accepted, immorality was accepted, and as you can see in their history, what happened, eventually it came down. The Romans, the same thing. So these are the things that begin to tear into the fiber, the moral fiber of a society. And once you begin to tear into the moral fiber of a society, what begins to happen is that you destroy the culture. And that's because we're living in a godless society. You see, that's the part that they don't want to talk about, because everybody wants to eliminate God. Everybody wants to say, you know, there is no God, there is no one that controls all of this. But this is what's going on. This is what's going on. So these are the things that we have to talk about. And these are the things that we have to be in line with. So, you know, we have to be careful with that, and we have to begin to excuse me here for a second. But yeah, we have to begin to look at those things. So I thank the Creator. You know, I thank the Creator for understanding. I wanted to talk about this topic because of everything that's going on, and we can't be oblivious to everything that's happening. So yeah, like I said, we give glory to the Creator. Listen, we do not I've got the brother calling in, Jerome Kirby. Shalom, my brother. Long time. How are you doing?
How you doing? Good. What was that scripture that you spoke on in Leviticus? What chapter and verse was that?
Oh, Leviticus chapter. You mean the one that I just read where I said, "Be ye holy, for I, the Lord your God, am holy"?
Yes.
Leviticus chapter 19, verses 1 and 2.
So is this chapter 19, 1 and 2?
Yeah.
Okay. I also like to speak on the sexual harassment issue.
Listen, brother Jerome, can you please mute your computer in the background so we don't hear the double thing?
Okay. Is that better?
Yeah, that's better.
Okay. I just like to speak on the issue of sexual harassment that you brought up. You know, we live in a time now where men are walking around with big egos, and they see something and they want something. And when they want something, they don't know how to approach it. So they want to take what they see, because women are presenting themselves today in an upward mobility. They are being watched, they're being groomed, they're being advanced, they're moving up. And men have problems handling that. Also, I think men need to be realized that women are not the women that our grandmothers and great grandmothers were.
Mm-hmm.
And that we should be able to look at a woman from afar, and we should be able to judge her makeup by the way she presents herself, the way she carries herself, the way she talks, her body language. And we shouldn't be drawn into these situations. Women are the most freest thing on the face of the earth. Women make love to women, just like men make love to men. We're in a sexual revolution. What we look at and think looks good, they may look at us and think we don't look good back to them. So who is a woman today? Who's a man today? So when you talk about the President of the United States sexual harassing women, it's because that was the norm in his day. He's a 74-year-old man, and in his day, he took what he wanted. Power allowed him to have that. All these people that you're seeing today accused of sexual harassment, they came from an era when a man saw something, he took it. And a lot of these women back then accepted this standard. It's like all of a sudden now they're coming out and they're making accusations. He sexual harassed me. He forced me. He did this. He did that. I'm caught between a hard rock and a hard thing because I don't know whether she's being truthful and saying that she was sexual harassed, or did she actually go along with it because it was advantageous for her to go along with the program. So I think that we men have to take control of ourselves. Okay, we have to stop looking at the short skirts. We got to stop looking at the short thighs. We got to stop looking at the women's breasts. We got to stop looking at the woman's derriere. And we got to stop being tempted by the devil. Because a woman is good and a woman can be bad. A woman can bring sexual harassment on, or she can be innocent and don't want to be bothered. But I think that women should be more cognizant how they dress, how they present themselves. I think a man knows when he looks at a woman whether she's vulnerable, whether she's willing, or whether she may be brought along. She may be groomed. And I think we men have to take responsibility for our forefathers, what they did. And we have to accept the fact that women are angry at us today for what our grandparents did by being forceful with women. And we have to be more of a gentleman. And we have to accept women. And we have to accept the fact that they make money, they have rights, and we have to show more appreciation. And not allow ourselves to be caught up in forcing a woman to have sex. That's all I have to say about that.
Thank you very much for your input.
Thank you.
Yeah, so that's another side of it. From our brother Jerome. He said that he came from that the president came from that time. And from that era when men did things like that. And the thing is, it wasn't right then, and it's not right today. And he made some very good points about the way that some women dress today and the things that they do. We live in a society that accepts lewd dress in a workplace, that accepts all types of things. And that's why I'm talking about the moral fiber. The moral fiber is like, you guys can't see it, but those who are on Facebook could see it. As you can see all the disrespectful people that just came on, you know, and they continue to come on, because as soon as you start talking about this man and the immorality and the place of the man, you know, you got these followers, these yahoos that can't see wrong in him, you know. They can't see wrong in him. So it is what it is. But right is right and wrong is wrong. You know, right is right and wrong is wrong. You know what I mean? So these are the things that we need to look at. You know, so as I'm over here just deleting all this. So yeah, like I was saying, when we look at the Torah, that's what we govern ourselves by, and that's what we look at, and that's what we try to emulate. We try to emulate the laws of the Creator. So these are the things that we do, and this is how we govern ourselves, brothers and sisters. Don't fall into the trap. The trap is very easy to fall into. And to all young people out there, respect people, you know, respect, especially young men, respect women. Respect women, respect their space. And don't allow people to get you into a situation where you're going to regret something for the rest of your life. So those are things that we have to keep in mind. We live in a society that when we look at things as a whole, as a people, as a community of people, you know, it even came out about, I believe it was John Conyers. I think he's in the hospital right now because they said he's about 88 years old. He's a civil rights, he was in the civil rights movement, and they said I think he's a representative from Michigan. He was caught up in some mess, and he got caught up in some mess. Like the brother put it, that was the norm of that time. And he's an elder. I believe the brother who called is an elder. So he's like, look, you got to learn to curb these actions. And now us that follow in the steps of the Creator, of keeping law, we are governed by something that's higher than anything else. So all of our actions are being observed by the Creator because of this of anything that we do. I mean, any step that we take, we have to answer to a higher power, as they say. So when we have to answer to that higher power, that's the thing that should keep us in check. Power corrupts. And when you have power, and when you're a powerful person, we look at King David, people don't like to talk about that, but what was it that drove King David to see Bathsheba and say, call her and bring her over here? It was a lapse in him, not keeping Torah. And I could say it like that with authority because that's what happened. Because that was a man's wife. Whether Uriah was a Hittite or not, it didn't matter. I mean, Uriah being a Hittite didn't stop the Most High from punishing David and causing death to be all through his family and all types of embarrassing stuff to happen to him. And Uriah was a Hittite. Why did that happen to him? Because he violated. You know what I'm saying? And it speaks to what we're talking about as far as when you are in a position of power. And when we even look at the story, David was on a terrace or on a rooftop looking at the woman, probably looking down at her. So he was in a position of power. He could look over the city. And he saw her, he said, bring her to me. He was in a position of power. So when you are in a position of power, you have to be very careful to not violate and not to use that position of power to take advantage of whatever it is that you want to take advantage of. So I thank the Most High God for this day. I think it was a very good topic. I really enjoyed talking about it tonight. I'm not going to stay on all night. So I'm going to call it a night. I've been on for an hour and 15 minutes already. So I thank the Creator of heaven and earth for life, food, clothing, and shelter. I thank the Creator for all of your lives. And I hope and pray that the Most High God will continue to be with us and bless us. I will see all of you again tomorrow morning on the same channel at 11 a.m. on the D.C.B channel. So please come out and join us. Join us on time. And don't forget to subscribe to our videos. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and like the video, share it on your social network and all that good stuff. So once again, giving glory to the God of heaven and earth, Yehovah Zebaot. And I'm glad that you came out tonight to listen to me. May the Most High God bless and keep each and every one of you. Shalom, shalom. Hallelujah.